Hey everybody, Jake Reichbart here. Today I'm going to share with you a lengthy lesson excerpt. So have your guitars ready and we're going to have some fun together arranging a song. Perhaps you've seen some of my many hundreds of solo guitar arrangements I have here on YouTube, and the inspiration for these arrangements is right here behind me, as you can see. I grew up with these vinyls, and I draw pretty much from any kind of style imaginable from the pop music of the past 100 years, everything from Glenn Miller to Van Halen, Alan Holdsworth to Motown, and pretty much anything in between. Beatles, I have perhaps 25 Beatles song arrangements, 20 Steely Dan song arrangements, same for Stevie Wonder, rock, hard rock, Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, and of course tons and tons of classic jazz standards from the 40s and 50s, bebop, dance tunes, movie themes. And if you want to learn how to arrange any of these songs for solo guitar, I can teach you. Just like the excerpt that you're about to watch, which comes from a lesson that runs about 90 minutes, I have nearly 200 additional titles, and they are mostly song specific. I enjoy teaching through specific songs because I can show you hands-on how I approach arranging a song. What's nice about these lessons is that I don't just tell you, do this and you're done, but rather I'll take you through 3 or 4 or 5 different ways to play the same passage. I'll work with you on dynamics, on articulation, and 100 other things that you cannot just put to paper. As I mentioned, these lessons run approximately 90 minutes. The introduction, which runs usually 15 minutes, focuses on the right hand and rhythm, and in this introduction I go through my 3 pillars of rhythmic arranging, the first principle being melody and bass only, the second being rhythmic arpeggiation, and the third, of course, the down stroke that I play with my right hand fingernails to produce that backbeat that everybody asks me about. Nevertheless, I do have 2 main method lessons. The first one, how to arrange any song for solo guitar, running 2 hours, and also an introduction to fingerstyle guitar and solo guitar arranging, running 2 hours and 40 minutes. The information about these lessons, the cost, my full lesson list, as well as a link to the full performance of the song that we're working on today is below in the information. So expand the information, take a look, and let's get started. There's an introduction, parts of which will be used later in the song where there are lyrics, but for now, just the introduction. This is your first fingering. It is an A minor 7. You can call it an A minor 9. There's a 9 on top. It can be played with in two different, slightly different ways. One has the open A. The other one, you can decide to finger it. Otherwise, it's the same. It's a bar or a partial bar. The 5th fret, so you get the notes in addition to an A, whichever A it is. You also get the G, C, E, and then the B on top. And you're noticing already I'm doing this slight arpeggiation, if you will. Anyway, first fingering. There are 2 melody notes here, and using the word melody is a little up to interpretation here. It's the top notes of whatever chords are playing at the moment, so whether you call that a melody or something else, I don't know. Again, just trying to imitate the original. And again, there are 2 ways to play this fingering. I do it like this, which is to say, using my thumb to play the bass note, the B, on the 6th string 7th fret, and the rest of the chord is an A chord on top. So A, C sharp, E, and A. The other way to play it is just like this with separate fingers. It's totally up to what is convenient for you. In this instance, I'm using my 3rd finger for the bass, and then the pinky is playing this note. Otherwise, it's like this, totally equal in sound, and you play them any way you want. So again, you could have played it here. I played it here because it's most likely because it's kind of going in that direction. So it's a bar on the 8th fret, and it's a C major 7 chord. So I'm barring everything. I have under my fingers, I may not necessarily pluck them out all at the same time, but I'll have under my fingers, at the very least, this C, also this portion of the C major 7. This note doesn't really make an appearance here, but it's under the bar anyway. What determines what you end up playing is, of course, your right hand. So at the very minimum, you have this note, and so it's like this drop 3 C major 7. I play it like this because there's a little lick there played, I forget by what instrument, probably a piano. You can include it, change it, copy it, whatever you want. It's just, again, an impression. Now, this note is also available to play. It's the 5 of the C. I may decide to include it or not. If my pinky is not busy doing that, it can cover this note, which is a G. Not necessary, but it's right there. So first 3 chords. Three chords, just laid them out, but one at a time. This is an E minor 7. I could be playing it like this. Too much work. I don't really need this note, so all I'm playing is, well, you can also include the open E. And then this E, and then this G triad on top, which is, when played against an E, of course, is an E minor 7. But there's a little melody. So the way I finger it is, again, my first finger holds down this bar across the upper 5 strings on the 7th fret. And in fact, if you end up playing this A, which is the 4th, the 11th, no big deal. There's a lot of fourths in this song. It's a common sound for Steely Dan and Donald Fagen. But the chord in itself is just this, and then this, and that little motion. So the notes are, again, E or this E. On the 7th fret, you also play the D. On the 8th fret, you have the G, and then on the top string, it's B, C, B. Here's a D major of some kind. This came close to mind. It sounds close enough. I didn't want to commit it necessarily to an 11 or a 7th. This sounds like it does the job. That was my impression of it. So it's just a D on the 5th fret, 5th string. Also, this 6 for color, which is a B on the 3rd string. And then you have E and A on top. In fact, you can also include this F sharp. So together, if you played all 5 notes, you'd have D, F sharp, B, E, and A. And then this G is independent, all by itself. So this is an interesting position right here to play. This is an F major 7. I play it in the 3rd position. My F is right here. 4th string, 3rd fret. And the top of the chord, C, E, and A, which we played several times in other contexts, but now against the F. And playing it like this, especially with my pinky, which I'm able to do, but you can do with some other finger, enables me to move the other fingers to create some kind of a, fake bass line. I'll try to make sure to get that right hand here in the frame. So actually, a little bit of that percussive sound came from the thumb at that particular moment. So just to be aware. So that provides us with a little bit of an imitation of the drum, or excuse me, of the bass note, bass movement in the original version, plus some movement, some rhythmic movement. So that's the chord. And the bass notes that are available to me, I take advantage of what's available in this position. So with my third finger, I can hammer on this G, and mostly C to D. Something like that, or some derivative of that motion. This was like that. That was one variation. I might not always do it exactly the same. So F, then C hammer to D, G, and F. Next we have a B7 and the open position. So it's B, D sharp, A, open B, and the F sharp on top. And you notice that I'm muting it. Again, it's an impression of the original. At any given time, I'm noticing in my own arrangements, and have for years, that the way things come out for me on a solo guitar arrangement is as if the original song is playing in my head and is being filtered out through my particular mind. And whatever elements come out might not be the ones that you might have chosen, but I remember, or I feel, that this chord, and many others like it throughout the arrangement here and there, was short, then long. So it's important to listen to the song, to all these other extra elements, the dynamics, whether the note is long or short. Those are things that are very difficult to put on paper, on tablature, which is why I don't offer any, let alone that if I had to tablature this song out, it would take me a month. But again, it's much more easier and immediate to demonstrate this on video. So we said B7, to a G major 7, and I take advantage of a nice sound here, which is the sound of fretted notes along with open strings, and gets me this really pretty sound, which is of course relevant to the song. It sounds like it, almost sounds like that, like E, D is the melody there, again instrumental at this point. So what is the chord? My first finger or thumb, I play a G in the bass, a 6th string 3rd fret, and along with it an F sharp on the 4th string 4th fret, open G, D on the 2nd string 3rd fret, and an open E. Coming out of this G chord, I notice that I play, the next chord is going to be a C9, this thing, but I noticed that I preceded the C with a B moving into it. Again, something that I do subconsciously. Maybe I picked it up from the actual original version, or maybe I just did it on my own. But again, it provides motion is really what's important here. And the bass lines in the song are quite busy, so I do get inspired by them. So this is maybe something that actually happened on the original recording. At any rate, C9, which again takes advantage of an open string here. So the basic chord is C, E, B flat, D, and an open E. And again, I arpeggiate. You can make this an exercise. Just hold this chord can alternate bass notes or do something else. Work on your little, very gentle, nice little soft backbeat. It's not a hard rock song. And notice the arpeggiation. All right. And I'm going to review all of this together, but just to finish up with the next two chords that come before the vocal comes in. An A minor with an 11th flavor. So once again, taking advantage of the open E string, I play an open A, also a G on the 4th string 5th fret, a C on the 3rd string 5th fret, and a D on the 2nd string 3rd fret. So together, A, G, C, D, and E. And what comes next is a D7, but with a unique flavor. And that flavor is of being an augmented. Like normally you'd play an augmented D like this. So you have D, F sharp, your B flat or A sharp if you want to call it that, which is your augmented 5. So technically it would be in fact an A sharp and not a B flat because it's the 5 that's being raised. And in this position I double the D on top, but the way I hear it is that there's an E here, so I suppose you could have done something with a D and E. Too hard. I ended up just doing this, which is to say D, F sharp, A sharp, and then with the pinky I play the E on the 2nd string 5th fret. And this is where the vocal melody starts.